on, I'm going to show you how to peel a chicken, and then we're going to discuss Adore's departure from All-Stars Drag Race.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It's Jackie's birthday.
Let me get my headphones on so I can hear.
Pop this bad boy open.
That's so sweet.
Happy birthday.
So yesterday was
Happy
Jackie's
birthday, Richard. Who's Richard?
Kenny's grinder hookup that didn't show up.
So you benefit from it.
I'm taking a picture
And
of
you're
it.
20. And you're 21.
I'm 21. I love it.
Yeah, so yeah, you're doing that.
Hi everybody, while they're getting the candles set up, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome to Drag Race. Thanks, Jay. It's a teamwork. Yeah. I'm your host,
you
Kenny
guys.
Harrison. You can find me at Kenny C. Harrison on
like crying.
Instagram. No, you can't start crying because then I'm gonna start crying. I'm shaking. We'll get to the birthday girl last. On the far end over here, checking his phone is.
Hi, I'm Jay Ellis, and I'm on Instagram at don't_be_jealous and Twitter at still_jealous, and that's JELLIS.
And next to Jay.
Mark J. Freeman, AKA LoRayne Love in the house.
I'm 123 Jackie B, like it says on my birthday cake.
And she's rocking some Julia Childs.
I'm rocking my Julia Child outfit, which looks more like Albert Einstein, but
Both would be really good Snatch Game contestants anyways. I
that
think
is
you're
true.
fine. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
true.
And then on the end there we have
Kenny Harrison. And I failed again because I have a lighter, but I didn't bring it in the studio.
That's okay.
So you can make
pretend.
pretend blow off the
Do
candles.
we have plates?
Yeah.
We do have plates underneath.
Okay.
I had everything from Jackie.
Fantastic.
Happy birthday.
Jackie's birthday was yesterday.
You guys are the best.
Okay, enough about you. We need to get the show started.
We do. We have
This
a
is
lot.
like, I cried during the episode, and now I'm crying during our episode.
And I when I watched this episode, the first 30 minutes of it, I thought of you. I was like, I felt like I was gonna have to call you.
You were like, Adora, why are you making Jackie cry for her
Yeah,
birthday?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, which bridge is she about to jump off of?
Should have saved your Adore shirt for today.
I know,
yeah.
I should have. I should have.
Well, guys, this was a very dramatic episode, I think.
This was.
Oh, welcome everyone who's watching us live. Happy Labor Day. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for downloading us on iTunes. Make your comments down below. Okay, so episode 2, season 2 of All Stars.
Yeah.
Jumped right into Snatch Game.
Right in the Snatch Game.
Well, I guess because you would have.
You
if
need
you
to
did
have
it,
the
you need to
number of
have
people.
a number of
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Well, with the door leaving, they
I
actually
say
had
minus
to,
one.
Yeah.
I have such a conspiracy theory about this. Because,
Let's hear it.
Okay, right off the bat.
Yeah.
So, Adore, I think we've all seen the video. I was on Reddit, and I just checked a few things about like Adora's departure, and she wanted to leave immediately after episode 1. Now, I think the producers kind of went into scramble mode, like, okay, let's make a revenge thing for Coco, so we can have like this revenge thing, because clearly they're going to be down a queen right off from the start of the season, instead of like a double elimination. So I think the producers shifted Snatch Game to this week, knowing that Adore was going to leave the next day. So they're like, okay, well now we have 8 queens and it's always 4 and 4. So I think that they pushed an episode forward. So we might have a different challenge later on that was meant for 9 queens.
Got it.
Okay. I can get down with that
Okay.
theory.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is that from the set that they built, this is just random. It looked as though that the top tier was going to be 4 and there was enough space for 5. So I think they always anticipated 9 queens for Snatch Game.
Okay.
Having said that, I think and this is a question I want to ask you guys, because when Adore was telling Rue during the walkthrough right before Snatch Game that she wanted to leave, do you think that Rue's reaction was genuine, or was it like to save the show? Because they have a format for the show.
Yeah.
And if we're going to start off with 10 queens and now we're going to have 2 already gone and we still have an elimination that next, for this elimination, for this challenge, do you think that she was being genuine in trying to convince her to stay? Or do you think that, there was kind of 50-50? Because I don't think she wasn't being like, I think she genuinely wanted her to stay, but I also think that in the grand scheme of the show, it's better for her to stay on the show than just to walk out. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah.
Well, like
Did I
Jacque-
just answer my own question?
Yeah.
You did. You
Oh,
totally
sorry.
did. Well, and Jackie brought this up last week that Adore has a ton of followers and fans, like maybe of the queens that were brought back for All Star. So I think Ru has like the producer hat on, saying, well, maybe if Adore leaves, the show may not lose viewership, but there goes a lot of fans, and maybe that will be mad at her departure. So I think that Ru had both hats on, saying, I like you as a person, but I like you as a reality contestant as well.
Right.
So she didn't want her genuinely to go, but also for the show.
What do you think, Mark? Because I know you like the fact that she called out a particular judge. We do this texting before we, once we all. By the way, I want to say this: we love your comments on Twitter, especially on Twitter. Some of us don't get to watch the show when it airs on Thursday. So I know Jackie. She always is probably the last one.
Don't tell me.
We still love your comments.
And this will be our day for filming for everybody who is questioning.
So Sundays is it. So I feel. Oh, Mark. So how do you feel about the way Adore approached the situation?
Did you guys watch her video that you?
Yes.
Everybody watched.
I didn't.
You didn't watch it. Okay.
No, I didn't watch it.
I think it helped too, kind of just to hear her explanation of why she left and everything. And I'm 100% behind her. I know what it's like to. There's a difference between doing drag and me going home and sitting down and seeing snide comments on YouTube. And there's a difference between someone sitting right there and shaking their finger at me and telling me that I don't look like an all-star right in front of me. And I think that that's her point, is what Michelle said to her. And regardless of what comes out of Michelle's mouth, I don't care. What you're saying, you can be constructive and not be crude and rude and demeaning. And even Adore said to her, she didn't seem like you were being constructive when she talked to Michelle. And I'm glad that she said that, because it didn't seem like she's being constructive, because I knew that's what Michelle was going to say. But I want to make you the best. Bitch, were you sitting in RuPaul's living room when she was 17 talking to her like that? I don't think so.
Right.
You were supporting her. You were, encouraging her to go out and do her thing. That's what you need to be doing for these girls. Not sitting there and putting them down and telling them. And even, did you watch the Raven and Raja's? Tooted.
Yes, I did.
And they both tooted Adore as well.
I liked her outfit.
I liked it
surprisingly.
too. But like even when Adore
I think I did,
in the episode, she's like, it's real hair. I did it myself, and she's like, who cares?
Right.
I'm like, okay, as someone who doesn't do hair, kudos to you, girl, because I couldn't do that. I take it to Hollywood Wigs and say, girl, this is what I want it to look like.
That was her actual hair.
It was a real hair wig, is what she was saying.
That's what I kind of figured.
So, I don't know. I'm 100% behind Adore, and I get what it's like when you have your aesthetic. And I get it a lot, too, because I tend to do a little bit more campy, more, that 50s vibe type looks. And you get tired of people saying, I have to look like Raven, or I have to. No, that's not my thing. I get that I can mix it up, and I can definitely put on, something a little, what I would consider scantily for me, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to dress like Derek Barry, or because I have taste.
The air just got sucked out of the room when you mentioned Derek's name.
I know that a lot of people are like, oh, well, your amount of fandom doesn't equal talent. Now, that doesn't make really much sense to me to start off with, but also there was a HuffPo article a while ago that actually they went through and counted the followers drag queens had on every platform. And I think Adore was number one, if not in the top 5.
Yeah.
And that's a lot when you've had over 100 drag queens, or just 100 drag queens on the show.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but wasn't she got most of her fan base from American Idol, right? I don't watch American Idol.
But no matter how you got your fan base, it's still like you are famous for something. And even if, we've had other queens on the show like Bianca Del Rio. Her look to me isn't that impressive either.
Yeah.
But Bianca Del Rio is a comedian.
Yeah.
So that is her strong point. She's a comedian who happens to dress in drag.
And you never once saw Michelle talk to Bianca Del Rio like that. Not once that season did they call her out on her. I specifically listened for it that season because I kept thinking, why are they not saying anything to her about her silhouette?
They ripped. Michelle ripped Ben de la Creme that whole season for doing the same thing. So, and I get it.
That was because Ben de la Creme looked like her.
Right.
Well, that too. But I wanted to also point out that first of all, we got to see that Tatianna did pick Coco.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
That was a no win for her, which I'm not surprised. I mean, I mean, this is last week we're talking about, but yeah, she was the worst. I like the fact that Adore stuck to her guns. I think, again, we all make this choice. And yeah, we get into these situations where, and I think Adore would be fine. I think she was fine before, going off with what you said, I think she was fine before the show. And I think she's going to be fine after the show. And I think, and I kind of feel as though the other contestants have more to give to this competition than she did. And I think that she made, and that's not a rip on Adore.
Or maybe more to prove.
More to prove. Right, exactly. That you hit it.
I also get her attitude too, from the video. In the video, she was like, I tour all around the world. I'm singing, I'm known, you know, and then it's like I'm standing here in front of these judges. And again, like it was not just Michelle, it's like all the judges.
And Raven.
She said Raven was the one that
Raven
bothered her
Simone,
most.
to be clear, not Raven the drag queen.
Yeah,
Right.
Raven Simone. And then
Simone.
Yeah.
and then they were all like ripping her, and it's like I get the attitude of like I don't need this shit. Like I'm famous.
Well, I also believe that with the judges, I think there should be judges that don't know these queens.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because clearly Michelle is. I think I
biased.
brought it up. Yeah, I brought it up last week. I don't think that she should be judging these queens a second time.
Yeah.
But when
And
you're
it's-
doing All Stars, you know you can't really. Well, I guess you could bring in a whole new panel, but I don't know.
Well,
I
they
think-
did bring in some new people.
Well, yeah.
Todrick is new.
Well,
Ish. He's done it like one at a
but
time. Yeah.
like for the most, like this episode, they all have been judges already on the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, the contestants already know what the judges are looking for, and the judges already know the contestants and their aesthetic. Yeah. So where do you find then what are you looking for? Like what more are you looking for? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's more or less like when you get on the runway, I don't like that outfit. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So
But
tell us what
here's
you
the thing.
think.
But see, there's a difference between saying I don't like it and then again giving a constructive criticism. Okay, what don't you like about it? Say I would prefer that I like a silhouette. I would like it if you cinched. I would like it if you padded and had hips. I would like it if the length of the dress was longer. Give me a reason why you don't like it.
Yeah.
Just sitting there and slamming me and telling me I look like crap. That's not constructive criticism,
and
Michelle.
It's also that thing. I've had someone tell me they said to me that they wish they could dress me, and I feel as though that when someone says that to you, they want to change you, and I don't think that's
Yeah.
I don't think that's so. In that respect, I support Adore's decision to leave. Did I want her to leave? No, I this might sound cunty, but and speaking of which, the criteria of the show is to show your uniqueness, nerve, talent, and charisma, which Adore has all of those. And I think another thing that really stung was the fact that it was a talent show. She is the best singer by far.
Which they didn't criticize.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
she was in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I stand by, I support her. Again, she's not my particular taste in what I'm looking for in a drag queen, but I respect her decisions and her choices. Right.
Even though I was sad that she
thought of
left,
you the
I
whole
was
time.
so bummed. Like I did cry.
Yeah.
Like I was really bummed that she left. But at the same time, I get it because on a small level, like we've had people hate us on this show
Exactly.
to the point where you're like, seriously, like don't you have something better to do?
Yeah.
And there have not on this show, but there have been other shows I've been on where I'm like, fuck, I just want to quit. Like, why am I doing this if you're gonna have this attitude?
You do it to see me.
Well, the other thing that
No, I love this
the other
show.
thing that she said, and I don't know if she said it on Drag Race or if she said it in her little video, but and this is something that I could relate to too, was like when she was talking about how when the fan came up to her and was talking about it is the way that you dress, it is the way that you present yourself that I appreciate because I can relate to it.
Right.
And as somebody who has done that, and I had a girl come up to me at a show and tell me, she said, I just want you to know my entire life I've hated my middle name, and I'm so proud to tell people my middle name is LoRayne now because of you. And I just took that as, wow, like I made you like your name, you know what I mean? Like, and so as soon as she said that about this person coming up to her saying that to her, I knew instantly that moment, and I knew what she was talking about, and so that's why I'm proud of her for standing up to her. Like it'd be someone coming to me and say change your name, I'm like no, because I made somebody like their name because of of what I do, you know what I mean? And so I could relate to that, and I think that she did the right thing for her.
I try
for
to inspire people every day.
I'm naming my
Inspire
next
me.
dog Kenny.
Okay, so let's move on. again, and you can tell she was torn up. Adore was torn up the entire time.
And she, unless your theory is true, she did go to bed and sleep on it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So we can't say that she just made this decision on the runway and it was premature. She went home, she thought about it, she talked to all these people and said, you know what? I'm still going with my gut.
And it's another thing that I feel like if she would have stayed, you can tell she wasn't 100% in it. So
yeah.
Well, she said that her dad died and then her boyfriend broke up with her. So it was just like,
there's a lot.
You're already in your head in a shitty place.
Okay, so we miss Adore.
We do.
We do.
We will.
Yeah.
But moving on, Snatch Game. Yay. Just for some. Okay, this is my problem with this episode with the Snatch Game. All right,
First of all, it was not my favorite Snatch Game.
If it's on the list of things, if it's on the list of things that you may potentially do before you come to the show, you should have. And you've been on the show already once. Everybody has done Snatch Game. I didn't realize they didn't do Snatch Game in season 1.
No.
But having said that, you should have it down pat. Everything should be rehearsed to a T. Accents and all.
Yeah, it's hard though sometimes because not everybody's like an impressionist. So but
you should
coming in.
But then you should have something planned that you don't have to do
Absolutely.
that, or
I
you
agree.
just have to go. I'm gonna do it, and it's not gonna have the accent.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
that's like with Tatianna, she picked another
Airhead.
well, yeah,
star.
she picked another person that would be easy for her to replicate because she's not like an impressionist. But at the same time, it's like come up with some kind of jokes or something to make it funny,
Well,
and that's what she did with Brittany. And it's like
Well, going back.
But I
to
don't know how much of Brittany was. I think a lot of what she did for Brittany, she was off the cuff. I don't know. That was necessarily planned. I think
agree.
she definitely had more time to plan for Ariana Grande. But that being said,
I feel like her Brittany, she had better comebacks, and there's a level of unfairness, I think, as far as this episode with the Snatch Game having Raven and Juju as contestants. I feel like that's added pressure for Tatianna.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No?
I don't think so.
Oh, Jay and I are disagreeing.
I know, but why?
But why? Because I feel
Like they weren't out to get her.
no, they weren't out to get her. But you years ago, you've already competed on the show with the two of them. They've
and
already
didn't have the best relationship with Raven.
Yeah, they didn't have the best, and I'm pretty certain they're okay now. I don't
They
know
are fine
them.
now, yes.
However, having said that, I feel like there's added pressure because they've been sequestered to just this group, and now these two people that they have already been in competition with are back on the show. They're not judging her, but it's still there's a little added pressure because if I bomb, it's going to be twice as embarrassing for me if like the people that I've already spent this time with on this show once before is there again on the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see your point, and I was just so happy to see Queens as the two contestants. Thank you, as opposed to the models last season, which was so lackluster.
Boring.
Yeah.
So I liked seeing just returning queens every time we see them on a show, and then we had a Shangela and a Bianca cameo too.
Right.
But I don't know with them. I don't like you said if they were on the judging portion of it, then I would be like, I don't know if I want Raven giving advice to
a certain extent they're judging because they would cut away to Raven making a face like, ooh, I don't know, that didn't work.
editing.
Or,
But
you know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I think I wrote this in my notes too. How much of the editing is strategically placed?
Yeah.
And this was one of the things I was going to ask you guys too. How much of that editing of RuPaul cracking up at Alyssa was her really cracking up? Because I was like going, okay, she's not that funny.
Okay, let's run down the list real quick.
Well,
or the workroom.
can we talk
yeah.
about Alyssa though? Because there are a lot of fans in the chat roll, and there were a lot of fans tweeting at us and saying, I think Alyssa should have been in the top. Do you guys
I
think
disagree.
I don't think she
I don't
should.
think because I watched it twice and I watched it right before I came to the studio and not once did I laugh the first time and I didn't laugh the second time. Whereas with Alaska and Katya, I was cracking up both times I watched
Katya should have won in my opinion. But
See, for me, I thought Alyssa was funny. I just didn't see it as Joan Crawford.
I agree. You know what she reminded me of?
Let's go down the list. Let's remind everybody what everyone did. Alaska did Mae West the first time she did Lady Bunny. Ginger Minge did Tammy Faye Baker the first time she was Adele. Tatianna did Ariana Latte Grande the first time she was Britney and she won. Fifi did Teresa Caputo the first time she was on. She did Lady Gaga.
Second time she was on, she did Teresa.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we meant.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Detox did Nancy Grace this episode. Kesha was the first time she was on, and also Acid Betty did Nancy Grace season 7.
I don't know what it is, but like people have a hard time doing Nancy Grace, and I think it's like...
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Alyssa, because you bring up a good point. Alyssa did Joan Crawford. She did Katy Perry the first time, and Mariah also did Joan Crawford on her season. Katya did Susie Orman the first time. She did Bjork this time. Roxie did Alaska.
She did Susie Orman last time?
Yeah, and it was
so
hilarious. Roxie did Alaska this episode. She did Tamar Braxton, and she was supposed to do Sofia Vergara. She changed her mind, and Adore was going to do Jane Crouch, and she did.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either, and I was supposed to figure that out before I came in, but of course I didn't. But she did Anna Nicole Smith.
Genius
and
Anna
she
Nicole.
Someone in
killed
the
it.
chat room, if you know who
She killed it. Yeah.
that
So
is.
if you know who Jane Crouch is, and Rue was like, "Oh, I love Jane Crouch."
Yeah, I
don't
know.
who
I
that
meant to
is.
Google it too.
So your point to, I think it was Alyssa. Go ahead. Do you remember what you were gonna say about Joan Crawford?
Oh, I was just going to say that her Joan Crawford, like, I think she did a good job at being funny, but her Joan Crawford didn't read as Joan Crawford to me.
No, it
was
just sounded like Alyssa.
Yeah,
I think
it
Fifi
was
was
just-
right.
Which is what Fifi had said.
Yeah. It was like Alyssa making faces and stuff. And, and it's funny because they set this episode up to be, like, looking like Fifi was going through and sabotaging people. But then when you look back at it and you think, yeah, Fifi's comment was right. Your Joan Crawford
she's
was...
a televangelist.
Yes.
Your Joan Crawford...
Thank you.
Did have,
Alice
did
Wicker.
have her
Thank you.
voice.
Yeah. Well, she reminded me of Alyssa as Joan Crawford reminded me of Milan as Diana Ross. She just looked crazy. Like she didn't look like, she looked like almost a cartoon of Joan Crawford to
Yeah.
me. And that as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I actually wrote Mulan. I was like, no, that's not her name, Milan.
And we all know that that her most notable movie is Mommy Dearest, and I think that Alyssa was just giving a lot of Mommy Dearest
Dearest
quotes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
She didn't, other than her saying, this is your first time doing what? Snatch Game. Okay, that was cute.
Yeah.
But
The
other than
delivery.
that, nothing she really said.
I think what was
thought she
making
was
everybody
boring.
laugh
I thought
was
she was-
the delivery, which is how Alyssa delivered her reads too. It was like I didn't think
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. was funny, but
Yep.
it was the way that she's like beast. Like
Yeah.
just it's her. It's her. She
her.
knows what she's
Yeah.
doing. But it's her in a Joan Crawford.
Yeah.
So I didn't think I don't, sorry to disagree with any fans, but I just didn't think she was I thought
Don't be
Alaska
sorry.
hit it. I was in it.
Don't apologize.
And I do think that they edited it to look like
It was
Rue
funny.
was really laughing at her because and there were a couple times too when they cut to Raven and she was laughing at stuff and just knowing Raven, I was like, that's
probably
that's
laughing
not what
at
she was
stuff,
laughing
yeah.
at. I'll have to text her now.
Overall, I think I was most excited to see people who did well the first time, and I was disappointed. Like I thought Adele was fucking hilarious.
Hysterical.
Ginger Minj went beyond. And I don't think she won that
Because she made her so ratchet. No, who did? Oh, let me think about it for a minute.
because that was Violet Chachki. It might have even been Pearl. I don't. If who's in the chat room, tell us who won Snatch Game season 7. Her.
Oh, it was
Kennedy.
season 7 was Ginger.
Oh, you're right,
Oh, it
Kennedy.
was Ginger.
Was it Ginger?
Or somebody had a
tied.
tie.
They tied. It
Yeah.
was Ginger and Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Kennedy, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was...
So I was expecting to see her like do something again, and I was just like, her Tammy Faye wasn't bad. It just she
Wasn't
could
a
have
winner.
really took it over the top. I mean, Tammy Faye Baker was like, I mean, the makeup just running, and she's always
Yeah.
crying, and the accent. It kind of missed the mark for me, but it was one of those things where I was waiting to see how well she was gonna do, and it was just kind of like flat for me.
It's hard when you're comparing yourself to yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
if you did well the first time, it's
Well,
hard to
clearly,
surpass that.
Tatiana, same thing. She won the first Snatch Game, and she completely bombed.
Yeah.
Which I
Do you want to go through like as they were seated?
Yes.
Is that? I mean, just so that we make sure that we
Yeah,
hit
yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Ginger Minj, we did the Tanny.
Yeah.
Like okay, so good.
Alaska.
Alaska. I could talk
She
for
was
5
very
minutes.
She was very funny.
First of all, when she in the workroom, she was funny, and I was like, she's gonna nail it. I mean, and for those of who don't know who Mae West is, I mean, that was Mae West basically. And Ross said it that. When he thinks of Mae West, he's gonna think of Alaska being Mae West, which
Yes.
I totally agree because I can hear her in my
It's like
in my head.
it's like a characterization that bumps like an SNL characterization.
Right.
It bumps
Yeah,
it
Yes.
to
where
the
you're
next
exaggerating
level.
this,
Yes.
like she's very sexual innuendo. Like we know
Yeah.
Mae West is like this curvy, and like I think we got asked what our like who we would do for Snatch Game, and I was thinking like Samantha from Sex and the City would be a fun one because you could just be like, oh, like everything I see, like you can
Right.
just make it very sexual, and it's always gonna land as a funny joke. So I thought Alaska, it was an epic
and
one.
she's quick. She's first of all, she's already quick.
Oh my gosh.
And
So good.
I'm not a huge fan of Alaska. I don't think that she should have been in the top 3 for her season. I think she may win this season. But
I think this
But
is
she's
having said all that,
It's a setup for
I thought she was, and I hate to say it because I love the next person we're going to talk about, but I thought she was the winner, lone winner of this Snatch Game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I don't think so.
But next to her,
the next one was Katya, and that's who you thought should have been the winner.
Hands down.
Okay.
why is that, Mark?
It was just more creative. I thought that I just thought she was just. Katya's just such a quick wit, and I think if you combine their runways with the Snatch Game, hands down.
Okay, we'll get to that because I got some.
But I mean,
some
the way
things
that
to
they're
say
doing
about
it now, they have to lip sync for their life, so it doesn't even matter. But you know what I mean? Because ultimately, it's going to come to the legacy. Yeah.
Katya was
Katya,
cracking
I'm
me up,
sorry.
too.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
I think we had to warm up to it. Though. Like
Yeah.
there was a little bit of, I think that it was like being held back, and then I liked the bubbles and like the pinching and like when she made the noises for the laugh. That's what won me. I was like, oh, I knew she was gonna be in the top at that point, but I think it took a minute for her to click in.
to get in.
Kind of like what they said for Detox. It took us a minute to get there.
And I think
Detox was not funny.
The best thing about Katya is one of my favorite parts is when she asked how many bones did I win in Alaska. That whole banter was like it couldn't have been scripted at all, but it was perfect. It was and I'm glad they were, and I knew it probably wasn't planned that they would be seated next to each other during the game. So I agree. I thought Katya was and I love her. Everyone knows I love her, but I think she was a close. Not even a close. I think she was a second place, a solid second.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Alaska was funny.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Next to her,
I didn't find Alaska as funny, but
next to her was Fifi.
I did nothing for me, but whatever.
I thought it was.
It was
do you know the
better
character?
than her Lady Gaga.
Well,
agreed.
Yeah.
Are you
I
familiar?
think anything was better than her Lady Gaga.
you're not giving me a bar. I mean, you got to give me a higher bar than that.
You're not going to throw me a bone.
Yeah, exactly.
How many bones did you win? You guys all know the Long Island medium though, like, and I
Yeah.
think
I don't know her well.
I don't know.
I've
Molly
seen
either.
her. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
her.
you just have to know that she's a psychic, and she does walk up to people and go, "I have a gift. I don't know you, right?" Like, and she's always like sets the stage for, "I don't know you." And I thought that Fifi did a good, like, it wasn't excelling, but it was definitely not a bottom one. I think it was right in the middle of the road.
I think
That-
she.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, that one is like if you're not a person who's good at impressions, and Fifi's not. I think it would have been better to pick a person who's like just naturally funnier versus picking someone who's a character and trying to make them
her funny,
funny because you can do that, but I only think someone like Alaska or Katya
Gotcha.
would have been able to do that.
My whole problem with Fifi, and it reminded me of Raven Simone from
Simone Ye?
the
Simone, Kenny.
no, yeah, but the big queen who did her
Roxie Andrews?
No, 2 seasons ago.
Latrice?
God.
What are you
No,
talking about?
that was like
She
800
Snatch
seasons
Game,
ago.
and she did Raven, and she kept doing this, and it was
Oh.
like she kept doing it
That
over.
it was 3 Jaden,
Lynn,
Fierce,
yeah,
Fierce.
that one.
Zero Fierce.
And it was like the whole I got a gift. It's like, give me something else.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
repetitive.
That's
and
exactly
it was
what
like,
it was.
Yeah,
It's
and
a one note.
Yeah. So it was like, I need something else. And, and someone asked me about, because I raved about her growth from season 4 to now, and now it kind of looked like she kind of took a step back with the whole girl. I don't think your Sofia Vergara is gonna do so well.
But I think that looking like it's interesting because they tried to set it up as a villain moment, but when you, like I said earlier, when you saw the Joan Crawford, you were like,
Yeah.
I think that's her way of trying to be nice, and it just doesn't come off right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
She's trying to be helpful.
I
and
didn't
it's
even
coming
think-
off as
I-
devious. Well, it's also coming off as devious is because that's how we know her to be.
Right.
And that's what I kept thinking this week is like, okay, I need to start giving Fifi a chance because I do have season 4 in my head.
Right.
And she's trying to show us that she's not, but I'm having a hard time just adjusting.
I'm
so.
really happy to hear that because I was kind of worried that I was going to, because a lot of people were saying Fifi should have been in the bottom this week, and I'm like, no, Tatianna was like a really boring, like it just
Yeah.
wasn't right, and I'm so happy to hear you guys kind of say that because
Oh,
people
no.
are walking in kind of with their season 4 goggles on of
Right.
like we want to get rid of Fifi now.
No. I don't want to get rid of Fifi. I
It
think I
wasn't-
think she was bottom 3 in this episode.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't so bad as like her Lady Gaga.
I want a piece of cake. I'm sorry.
You know, I do want a piece of
No,
cake.
we'll cut it later.
Use my hands. Use my chicken.
So for me, as far as Snatch Game alone, not counting Runway, I think Fifi was one of the bottom 3. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Not counting the I don't think
We'll get to that
because
I want to because even Alaska said when they were when they were trying to figure out what to do as far as who to send home. She was like, well, should it be the runway plus the challenge, or should it be challenge, or should it be a combination of both? And I have to agree that to a certain extent you have to combine everything.
Mm-hmm.
We agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Next is Detox was not. No, Alyssa was the first at the bottom.
We
talked
about.
Boring. Detox.
Not boring. Yeah.
I did not like that Nancy Grace. And, and I think Nancy Grace is another one of those characters where it's like, yeah, she's got this like Republican viewpoint that you could make into a joke, but you almost have to be like clever about it. It's not as like Donald Trump where it's like this person is orange, this person has catchphrases, it's very easy to like kind of imitate. I think that person she's not as easy and not as well known.
I just had a thought for Ginger Minj. She should have did Paula Deen.
Oh, yes. Paula Deen.
But somebody I think already did Paula
Lake
Deen.
did
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love Darian Lake.
I liked Darian Lake.
But going to what you were saying, it's easy to do a Paula Deen who you can just make
you can just stuff 10,000 Twinkies in your face and be like,
exactly.
now I got diabetes.
Nancy Grace has the draw, and she's just very. That's a hard one. I feel like it doesn't come off as a Saturday SNL.
I think Carson
character.
Kressley could knock it out of the ball.
He did great the last season when he did that.
did a great job.
It was spot on.
I think that Detox got into it when she said, "Well, where'd you put the body?" When I thought that was like a Nancy Grace.
Yeah, but but every time they cut to her, she kept saying, "Where's the body?" And I was
but
like,
with
okay,
Nancy
that's annoying.
Grace, you need to like over accentuate
Yes.
that accent.
Yeah.
It needs to be
to
more
make
than
it
just like the
funny.
catchphrases.
Yeah.
Because I did think it sounded like she was from New York.
Speaking of that, that was my only problem I think with Katya was that her accent kind of went in and out of
The
York.
Icelandic, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
And then next to her,
Was Tatianna.
Ariana Grande.
Okay, I'm sorry. She looked like Ariana.
She did.
So, I mean,
She
she was
did.
spot. I was like, oh shoot, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
But
was
you know
good.
what? There are also like Ariana Grande has like aside from just licking a donut, there are other things you could have done. Like I've seen. You know what's interesting is I've seen Ariana Grande on several interviews where she doesn't have her contacts in. So she's always like doing this
A little
weird,
cross-
squinty,
yeah.
cross-eyed thing, and I'm like, you could have done that.
She
I
also
mean, the thing is like, I'm like, what are you, other than coming up with your outfit and practicing your paint, are you Googling them? Are you watching them?
Yeah.
Are you know what I mean? Like, you have to do that. And I don't know. I mean, maybe she did and it still didn't fly. I'm just, we'll never know.
And Ariana
never
Grande is
know.
being carried by her bodyguard.
Always, yeah.
The donut,
Yeah.
I thought donut licking was good,
But
but
it was predictable. I already knew that was going to be a part of that. So.
But it's just like those kind of gags make us go like, oh, you know the character.
I'm noticing a trend of pop stars. Katy Perry, Kesha, aside from Tatiana's first, Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Pop stars aren't Lady Gaga. They don't.
Well, Derek was in the top for hers too.
Who did she do?
Brittany.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Britney, bitch.
Who did she do the whole season?
So I'm just saying, aside
Other
from
than that day
Britney,
with the eyebrows.
aside from Britney Spears, pop stars tend to not be
Adele
favorable.
was a good pop star. well, she's not pop.
She's
More.
I
she's
do
a-
think-
she's an
But
artist.
that shows you like that's how
Creative.
how Ginger. It's more than just a funny line. It's more than just a catchphrase. You just have to bring. And some people just don't have it.
I still remember.
It's so hard to teach.
Chat and
Ru-
share.
Oh,
and
well,
Well,
that was a given. I still remember Rue asking Ginger, "Where are you from?" and she said, "My house."
House.
And it's just the best.
But, and here's the difference is because Ginger played against type for Adele. Like Adele comes off, I like it just seemed like this prim, proper like British
Right.
accent, and it was just like chewing on food and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just that's what made it funny. It wasn't Adele, but it was just the characterization that
exactly.
made everybody laugh.
So
Yeah, I liked. Yeah,
unless
I loved
you're
Adele.
Ginger Minj doing Adele, stay away from pop stars or singers in general.
Right.
Because I think someone did Whitney Houston. It was awful. That was years ago.
And
Okay,
Beyonce, that was Ken or somebody.
Oh yeah,
remember
Beyonce. Yeah. Roxy was no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Roxy
was last.
as Alaska 5000.
she should have done Sofia Vergara.
I agree.
I think she should have done Sofia Vergara because Sofia Vergara is not that Sofia Vergara is like Tamar Braxton, but it's that kind of like like fabulousness
You can
that Roxie would have really done well
You
with.
can almost say just about anything as long as you have the accent.
Yeah.
You can say anything you want as long as you have the accent to make it funny.
And it seemed like she knew Spanish, so like responses maybe could have been in Spanish. She could have done like CoverGirl tie-ins. Like I don't know. I think that there was things that, or I don't know if they would let a CoverGirl thing go in with Rue's makeup line and stuff. But I think that there was fun areas that she could have played with Sofia.
And you know
Vergara.
what, my boyfriend speaks Spanish, and he's like Sofia Vergara actually over enunciates exaggerates her accent to make her sound like more foreign, and therefore it's funnier.
Yeah.
So she could have done that,
Right.
over exaggerated the accent.
She also has that Fran Drescher pitch.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of
Yes.
high and kind of it gets in your ear a little bit.
Yeah.
I think she
I can
should.
relate.
I think she should have given it a try.
That would be a great one for Snatch Game. Fran Drescher.
Sahara
Jujubee.
Davenport.
Jujubee
Oh, I
did
forgot
Fran
that.
Drescher.
Sahara Davenport was Whitney.
I forgot.
Ah.
No, Sahara. Oh.
That's
Wait,
well, that's
but who was?
Jujubee did Fran Drescher.
Fran
Oh,
Drescher.
that's
that was a good one. I like that.
I forgot.
On All Stars.
Sorry.
On
I
All
cannot believe we are
My brain is
remembering
made
all
of
of
holes.
these. Yeah. Almost.
You know
of
what
them
I'm happy
anyway.
about though was that nobody did men for the Snatch Game. I liked that.
It's only been
I
done
still
once,
like
right?
Little Richard.
I
Little
liked it
Richard.
too.
Well, because
It's
Little
hard
Richard's
though, because I don't know.
I do like it when it's done, but I think the point of the game is more fun when they're women.
Michael Jackson. That was 2 seasons ago.
That was Thor
yeah,
G. Thor.
Thorgy.
did Michael
Last
Jackson.
season.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
last season.
And again, it's just one of those things where because Little Richard and Michael tend to have quote unquote feminine qualities.
They're
To say
very.
they're not really.
They're very akin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean,
There's
I
a lot
get
of
it.
drag going on there
I
already.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, they did it well. I like when they're women.
Yeah.
So that was that Snatch Game. Overall I thought it was meh.
Courtney Act was Fran.
What if someone was J. Edgar Hoover?
Remember that?
Was he gay?
He
Supposedly.
crossed-
Allegedly.
Yeah.
According to Leonardo DiCaprio. That's all I know about my history.
That's it. I mean,
Runway.
from the Snatch Game.
We're
Runway.
done. All right, bye guys.
But no, we have like 10-15 minutes.
I
Runway.
do I just want to give a shout out to Eric Walker, who has the same birthday as me. Happy birthday to you too.
I have some shout outs too, but I want to get to after the show.
Okay, RuPaul's pink hair.
Oh
love
my
that.
gosh.
So good.
Favorite outfit of Rue's ever.
Ever. Yeah, I agree.
Ever.
I didn't like the
Ever.
dress because it was the same silhouette
I
dress.
loved everything.
The pink
I loved
hair,
it.
I was living for.
She
the
came out. I was so happy about it.
Really?
It was Barbie. It was Barbie drag, and I was living for every minute of it.
The hair did not go with the dress.
We just haven't seen that from her in a while.
Yeah, that's why I was excited.
They didn't go together,
I was
in my
excited to
opinion.
see something other than platinum blonde, though.
Yeah. What would you want
Yeah, but it
changed?
just
Maybe
it
blue?
looked like more like a punk hair.
Let's give
to me-
construction.
It did. It looked more like something you'd wear like
Now
with
tell
a
us
punk,
how you
punk
really
rock
feel,
outfit.
Mark.
I just didn't.
I hated it. It's
You wanted a different hair or a
I
different
did
dress?
different hair, or keep the hair and change the dress.
Okay. Yeah.
They didn't seem to go together.
I
for me,
liked
other
it.
than the color.
I liked it. Okay,
I
let's
think
go.
that color looks good on.
I
her,
hope that
though.
agree is for me.
Agree for me.
It's probably
the
not.
latex eleganza was the
That's hard.
category.
I have nothing latex.
First of
I
all-
would have flunked the challenge.
I put stars by 4 people's names because when I think of latex, I automatically think black, and I think like either. And I'm surprised that nobody did a cat suit. That was the first thing I would have done. Was a black cat suit.
Yeah.
I like, you know what? I like that. I like you. The people you have stars by are people that deviated from the normal.
Right. That's why I
like-
put stars by.
Yeah,
They
because
they
you
a
think everybody's
gold
gonna
star.
do a Violet Chachki and have like a whip and a cinched
And
waist.
a corset. Oh, by the way, right before they went to the runway, there's a little snippet of Ginger Minge getting in her corset. Did anyone catch that?
Yes, I did.
Oh yes.
Go back and watch it. It is
Yes.
hilarious.
Where is it?
It's right.
They're like pulling her into her
corset. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
Literally
It's
playing
like
the show.
it's
Right before Ru
right
comes
before
out.
Ru comes out
okay,
on the
okay.
runway. Just a snippet of her, and it
Okay.
was just best part of the show for me. So Fifi was first with her duck.
I actually like
swimsuit.
that because that was the first introduction to me of like, oh, latex this is a great interpretation of latex, like a bubble bath. I think Katya did it better, but I do think that like at least there was a try.
Okay.
I'm wondering
There
if
was a
Jackie
try.
wears latex in the bubble bath.
Now,
Yeah.
question. Okay.
I do. I wear latex in the bathtub. Don't judge me.
So had Fifi been the last one on the runway, would you have thought the same?
No, because I would then
You
I
would've
would
been
have
like,
been comparing
oh,
it to
oh.
Katya's mermaid thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was all right. I think I didn't. It
I
wasn't.
thought the ducks were cute,
Yeah.
but I didn't really kind of get it. It just didn't mesh.
go
for me.
together.
I agreed with Michelle that I don't really want to see a bathing suit unless it's a bathing suit challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, where was that last season?
Right? And, but she said
Interesting,
it was
Michelle.
All Stars, and I agree. I think that
Interesting.
I think there was better.
It's okay if you're impersonating Britney.
Oh God, here we go again. Roxie was next.
Okay.
And
I loved it. That was my favorite.
I agree with Carson.
I agree too.
Because at first
Oh my
I was
God,
like,
Kenny, we're on sync this week.
what? I was like,
Coordinated. Yeah.
I was like,
He said, I wrote it down. He said it was too dead on and literal.
Yeah.
And I hands down was like, yep, I agree.
Well, I when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's just typical Roxie. And then as I'm seeing it closer, I was like, oh, that is a nice. It was a nice alt from head to toe. It was
That silhouette, though, like,
put together.
was bananas. That was one of the most beautiful
big hair.
silhouettes I've ever seen, and I love that. I love a nice curvy woman. So
And
I
anyone
thought
who
that
knows
was
me
great.
knows I'm not Roxie at all, not Team Roxie at all. But I do I appreciate
You can
her
give credit.
drag.
Yeah, give credit.
I thought she looked beautiful.
Yeah, she did look. I thought it was the same thing for me. It took me a second, and then once I saw it like standing, I was like, there's details in it that I didn't see at first.
The first time, yeah.
And Roxie has this great way of elevating like basic materials, like she did in her season when she had that like spaghetti string dress.
A couple times.
No, the one that
candy
she
one?
the candy one,
Yeah,
the
the
one that she
licorice.
actually made out of licorice.
Yeah.
Like she can take these basic materials and then put them on a really great silhouette, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
She knows how to pat her body. I give her credit for that.
Yeah.
Alyssa was next. I did not like this one.
thought
I
it
give
was-
her credit.
I thought it was tacky.
I give her credit for doing a color other than black.
Yeah, I do. I give her credit for that. Points
That
for that.
hair, it was just something. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it.
It wasn't.
I think it's a taste level for Alyssa for me. I just don't like her taste in
Because she had the
She's very pageanty.
she had the hooker shoes all the way up. They're black, and then the yellow dress with the lips.
yellow hair with a black in the middle, and then she had black underwear, and she had the cape on when she can't. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a lot too.
It's just
oh my god, we're the same person anymore.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Scary. My favorite is next, of course.
Oh, this outfit was amazing.
Brilliant.
Okay, so
Amazing.
I compare this to Alaska's walk because Katya barely could walk in this dress. But the difference is that she made it work to her advantage.
Well, and it made sense.
And it made sense.
It worked with it.
Yeah. And I was waiting for Michelle to say something about the color. But aside from that,
So that I would jump to the TV and punch her.
I love it.
I
It
loved
was just the concept.
I
and this
love
is-
that she changed for the lip sync so she could wear something that she could
Which
move in.
looked great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that goes with the thing too.
Yeah.
Like, I
Okay,
love
so
that.
the first time I watched it, I was not 100% with the costume change. But then the second time, I was like, okay.
But did we also know that Alaska
changed her
shoes?
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had those little baby pumps on.
Someone pointed out that they were like, "Why she got the grandma shoes?"
Shoes on. Yeah. We'll
I call them-
we'll get
them,
into that lip sync because I have stuff to say.
Okay. Tatianna was next. And you can see what I wrote.
Yeah, it was.
Would you basic?
Basic,
I
yeah.
said I didn't hate it, but it didn't take it to another level.
When I thought of latex, that is what I thought of.
Yeah.
And she
And it
didn't
was like-
elevate it into like a character, like a vampire, or
Right.
like twist it into something to
Yeah.
make it a little bit more unique.
Or
Yes.
make it, or it should have been a cat suit. If anybody should have did a cat suit, it should have been her.
Tatiana would look great in a
She
cat
has
suit,
a
you're
great
right.
body, great figure, and she has a
Yeah.
great face.
Yeah.
And the wig, the one that she had when she did her spoken word,
Uh-huh.
that's the one that she should have wore with this one.
I thought a short hair would have been better with that
Yeah.
outfit
Yeah.
too.
I agree with you. We're 3 for 3. I agree with Mark. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
Right.
Alaska.
I do not get why she got props on this outfit.
I don't either.
It made me so angry. Again, like in light of like what happened to Adore, where I was like, I don't see how this outfit in its not Adore's outfit was very nice, but it was very basic, and it's the same thing with Alaska's outfit. I was like, it's a very nice outfit. It's very basic. And so if you're going to rip Adore for that, why did you not rip Alaska for that? And I'm sorry, the makeup doesn't make up for it.
I did like the makeup from the head up.
I said I liked from the waist up.
Yeah, okay.
Because I didn't mind the top, and I think it was 2 pieces.
Yeah.
Because I think that was a jacket that
Yeah.
she had on, and then the skirt.
Yeah, which
kind of made me like it more, but I didn't like. I just don't like her from the waist down almost every time.
I thought her padding was good when she turned around.
I don't know. She just
It
looks
looks
weird
funky from the
shaped to
side.
me. She looks weird shaped to me.
When she was about to announce who she eliminated from the side view, it just looked weird.
Yeah.
But neck up. The way she painted the eye.
I liked it because it was
Mask of
different
Zorro.
than what she normally does, so I'll
Right.
give her props for that. But Katya, hands down.
I don't know. I really, not to sound like a fanboy of Alaska, but this I thought was like her episode to just take. I thought that whole look was great, and I thought when she turned around the skirt, she said it was very symmetrical, and I loved like the Mask of Zorro. I thought the wig, the dye was fantastic. I thought it was like a really nice.
are a fanboy.
I really am. I really have liked what she's done this season.
Although what was funny was when somebody said, "I really wish you had nicer shoes." Like, so do I.
Yeah, that was funny.
She's so fast. I love
She's
it.
so quick, yeah. Again, I said basic, and the walk, it kills me every time. Ginger.
I love that she's cinching, because I think her silhouette for me I liked. I didn't love everything about it. I loved her shape, and I thought she looked put together. I wanted it to be a step up.
You know what I liked about this for Ginger was that she feels confident. Like
Yeah.
she's like,
Well,
you
she
can
even
tell.
said, she
you
said this
can
is the
tell-
most beautiful I've ever felt.
Yeah, you can tell she was in stride and
Yeah.
she felt beautiful, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
I wasn't, and I wrote down platinum, and I couldn't think of whether I liked it or hated it, and I still am on the fence. I like the color choice, but I don't know if it. I think she looked beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'm still on the fence as to if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or just maybe it was all right. Yeah.
I thought I didn't get the material as much as like the latex.
It didn't seem latex to me.
But I thought that the platinum looked good. And last week I was talking about the neck, and I think that dress maybe helped me a little bit with that illusion.
I agree. And a change for me is Ginger is her hair. Her hair was different.
I
It
agree.
has been different, I think, both episodes.
Yeah, I've liked it.
I normally see the big, Ginger minge. Now it's like this
Southern
was,
girl hair.
I'm just thinking about the corset part again. It was,
I had to rewind it at least 4 times, and I died each time.
It was really funny.
Best runway for me,
Oh, hands down.
Detox.
Serving Disney Jafar realness.
First of all, the paint, the face, beautiful.
It was great.
Head to toe was
It
beautiful.
was perfection.
Yeah,
That's what you look for.
And see,
in
and
a
when
mouse
and when I think of latex, that is nothing of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And so this comes to the part where I asked
You know
you
what's
guys.
funny is like I loved Detox look, but Katya was still my favorite.
Katya was a favorite, but I as far as runway, Detox killed it. I think she was by far hands down the best.
Now, both good for different reasons.
Here's my question to
Yeah.
you guys. With that in consideration, I think we agree that Detox runway was amazing.
Yeah.
Add that into her performance in Snatch Game. Do you think that as a whole she's in the bottom?
No.
For both?
No.
Why?
Her Nancy Grace was like, it was bad, but it wasn't like bomb send you home bad.
Yeah.
Now, same question. Fifi. Runway plus Snatch Game.
Bottom.
Worse than Detox?
Yes.
I don't know. That's such a hard question.
I don't agree with that. I think that Fifi's Snatch Game was safe, and I think that the runway look was boring and safe, not enough to warrant a bottom 3.
So you don't think that she was?
I don't think Detox should have been in there either, though. I
No.
don't.
Well,
I
you
think
have to
should
have. You have
It
to
was-
have
I,
fun.
Yeah,
yeah, I
but-
know what you mean.
So okay, so here's my thing. I wanted to ask you guys because clearly this was one of the episodes that is a setup because we have Alaska Talks.
Yeah.
We have Alaska in the top. Now we put Detox in the bottom 3, which I disagree. I think that it should have been Fifi, Tatianna, and the other one,
Roxie?
that one, in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
But for dramatic purposes, I think, and even I'll take this to another level. I think for dramatic purposes, she got 10 grand because it makes for more drama to have Alaska choose someone to go home out of those 3.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
kind of a win-win for Alaska. And I'm not saying, I think she won Snatch Game, but if you put Snatch Game and Runway together, I think Katya
Hands down.
might have been the better pick.
Now, people were saying on the
But-
chat roll that they think Katya was holding back in the lip sync. Do you agree with that?
No. I think, well, when you're doing your thing and you got Alaska flailing and doing whatever on the ground,
Hey,
Alaska's funny. I just don't think... I think Rue's mind was already made up as far as the winner.
Yeah.
And be it because of the Snatch Game or for dramatic purposes, I think her mind was already made up. And I kind of feel that for last episode with Tatianna and My voice just went out. Tatianna and Roxie. I think the mind was already made up.
And I've noticed a big energy change in the way that they're lip syncing. That I feel like they're happier going to these lip syncs. Like they're hugging each other and laughing and playing with each other on stage just because they're for a legacy instead of for their life.
But Tatianna wasn't happy when she left, though.
No.
Tatianna was not happy. And I didn't like what Alaska did on the runway because didn't we have a conversation about this? Because they're lip syncing for their legacy, there's no reason to step in front of people and do that.
Yeah.
And she did it and she cut her thing off and she stripped. And I was just like, are you kidding me with this?
And she
I'm
won.
sorry, that for me, that made her lose it for me. As soon as she started doing that, that pissed me off.
I just don't like if you're going to show your undergarments, they better be like
Beautiful
undergarments.
undergarments.
A wig
undergarments.
underneath
It
the
was
wig.
like a wig underneath the wig. Like,
Yeah.
I first
Okay.
off, I hate what are they called? Strapless bras. I hate them because they never look right. And so that
And if you
strapless
ain't got no boobies.
yeah, it was just like very ill-fitting, and that's what bothered me. It's like the reveal better be an actual reveal, not like you have shitty underwear. You know?
Right. Okay, so we have to wrap up. We talked too long. Anybody else? Any final thoughts before we close? Anything?
Theories about revenge?
I think it's just going to be Survivor. Anybody who knows Survivor knows that the people who are eliminated gets to choose the winner.
Right.
So that's my
Or
theory.
I thought that they might, they'll get a chance. The girls that are still on, you know, they usually bring somebody back. They'll get to pick somebody that can come
that
back.
could be too.
That's what I thought too.
Where can they find you, Jay?
I'm at Instagram at don't_be_jealous and Twitter at still_jealous.
Mark?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at LoRayne Love, LoRayneLove. And I also want to tell anybody who's in LA, I was told on the way in that Latrice Royale is going to be at Rockwell Table and Stage in Los Feliz tonight, Monday, and Tuesday at 8 o'clock doing a show. I'm not even quite sure. That's all I wrote down. So Google Rockwell Table and Stage if you want to find out more information about Latrice in LA.
Awesome. Julia/Jackie/birthday girl.
What do Jackie be on all platforms?
And you can find me at Kenny C. Harrison on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Make your comments down below. We will be back next week for episode 3 of Drag Race All-Stars.
Woohoo!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Drag you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.